I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. It's time for our annual Year in Review program. We have 52 programs throughout the year, and this week takes a chance at what's happened throughout the year in short versions. We begin with an interview from the spring. I had an opportunity to visit with Joplin City Clerk Barb Hoagland. She received special recognition from the state of Missouri. Hello, I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. Today we visit with the Joplin City Clerk, Barbara Hoagland, and we're going to find out about a special recognition she received as well as the role of the clerk in the city. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
I think we'll start off by congratulations as well. You received an Outstanding City Clerk of Missouri award recently.
I did. Surprise, surprise. I guess it's been 3 weeks since I got that award, but I am totally surprised by City Manager Sam Anselm nominated me for this award, and it is the highest honor that a city clerk can receive in the state of Missouri. It is by two people on the board. It's by the Illinois State President and the Kansas State President, Picshu, and I feel honored and blessed to have received this award, and I'm thrilled to death to have received it.
And of course, recently at a city council meeting, there was a special presentation where they presented an award to you publicly here in Joplin. You were out of town when the award was presented at a conference. So.
Right, and then the state came down and presented that award to me. And again, I told the council, and they had a reception before the council meeting for me, and present members of council were there, and past members of council came for it, plus city employees as well, and friends. It's an honor. It's an honor to be a city clerk. You know, I tell everybody I think I have the best job in the city and the best job in the world, but you know, it's a diverse job. We honor and we're blessed to have this job. We are when citizens come in that door, sometimes they're not all the time, you know, real happy, because sometimes they want to see their council person. We try to help them out the best we can. So it's, like I say, it's just a real thrill to serve our city.
So you are the face to the public in many cases. When they walk in the building, they're not going to run into the council members maybe, or the mayor's not going to be there. They're going to talk to you.
And that's true, you know, but lots of times the mayor's already been there today. The mayor was there yesterday. The mayor's there a lot. Even though he has a full-time job, we do see him a lot because we do something called proclamations. And I would say, in talking to other clerks all over, we do more proclamations than probably any other city in the state of Missouri. And this is proclamation heavy right now. He presents them everywhere, and they're kind of going out the door a lot.
So special recognition for people with their accomplishments, their honors.
Our honors, or, you know, he proclaims quite a bit of things, yes.
I know you have a lot of groups. You mentioned the educational aspect. You have Girl Scout, Boy Scouts, a lot of people coming in, you know, to the building, tourists. A lot of people,
you know, all over the world. You know, the city offices sit on the original Route 66, and tours come in from literally all over the world. And they just want to get their picture taken just standing there.
I'm in Joplin. This is the place.
Absolutely.
Well, you mentioned retirement. And of course, people are curious.
I'm going to retire.
So.
I'm retiring at the end of the year.
So that will be a big change in your life.
Well, it's really not going to be a big change, other than I have 6 grandchildren, and I'm going to follow them in their activities, and that's what I'm looking forward to doing.
What stands out most in your mind, your memory, as far as working as city clerk over these years?
Well, you know, it's all been good. I'd have to say, just the different council people. I have served 17 councils. And it was great seeing some of the past councils the other night.
Came the other night,
oh,
right?
It was great. I'm so appreciative, just so appreciative for the opportunity that I've had. And then I've gotten to travel a lot. I belong to the international organization, and I would just say that all the opportunities I've had and have been given to me, and I'm very blessed.
Good. I know in your role, as we say, meeting the public, getting to work with the council members. Now, someone might ask you, well, what makes Joplin a great place to not only work, but to live? Why does Joplin stand out? You go to all these conventions and meetings, so what makes Joplin special?
Well, you know, everybody knows Joplin. You know, It's fun, and they will know Joplin, or they'll know somebody that lives Joplin or nearby Joplin, and they'll say, "Well, I know exactly where Joplin is. I know it's not the tornado. It was before
that.
pre-tornado." They will know Joplin. I would say Route 66 really is a big hit, and you've got to say, "That's it. You hit it right on." And I trade pins. I have a big pin collection, and they will want your pin, but they'll just want to talk to you about Joplin, and that's what it's all about, networking. That is the biggest thing, just standing and listening. And one other thing, I trade ordinances, or not trade ordinances, I send my ordinances out, and some will, so they won't have to invent the ordinance.
Have you dealt with this? Here's how we dealt with it, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's just easy to give them our ordinances. We've already got it, and I can send it all across the country, and they love that, because they don't have to write it.
So a good support system for city clerks everywhere nationwide.
Absolutely.
Well, Barbara, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us today. Congratulate you again once on the award.
Thank you.
And kind of early congratulations for retirement that'll come up at the end of the year.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. I have many opportunities to visit with community leaders throughout the year. This year featured a chance to visit with the new Joplin School Superintendent. This next segment features some of what she had to say on the program. Well, it's summer, and sometimes it's pretty quiet in the schools, a few summer school classes, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes for administrators. Today we have the opportunity to visit with the new Joplin School Superintendent, Dr. Linda Moss. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And welcome you to Joplin.
Thank you.
And to kind of share your feelings, you've been here for a little bit of time now, kind of looking at Joplin, how your reaction to being here in town.
Oh my, I think my first response would be everyone has been so extremely warm and welcoming, and just greeted my husband Greg and I with very genuine welcome, and we appreciate that.
Great. Well, for our viewers who may not be familiar, let's start off with a little bit of background information. You came here from Arkansas.
Yes, I worked for 10 years in the Harrison School District and served as their superintendent, but prior to that I was in Missouri. I've kind of gone back and forth across the state line a time or two.
Right.
I grew up in Arkansas. I attended the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, and my first degree was in finance and banking, actually. But I always, even through high school, had always said I wanted to be a teacher, and so was kind of geared toward the finance piece. My dad was kind of like, "Oh, honey, those teachers don't make enough money.
You've got to get into business.
they have to deal with unruly students. You don't want to be a teacher." And so I followed that path of business and finance. But again, always in the back of my mind, still I want to be a teacher. And I did have the opportunity as I was starting my family to go back to school, get my teaching certificate in special education. And so that put me on the career path in education, and I've never regretted that, never looked back. But now that I'm in administration, those trainings in finance and banking and my work experience there has helped give me a good perspective, I believe. So no education is ever wasted.
Well, I know you've only been here for a few months, but it sounds like you've been keeping very busy.
I have, but in a good way. I'm enjoying it.
Great. And of course, school starts up in the fall. That's going to be an exciting time with the teachers getting back in the classroom. And you know, even as we're recording this program, teachers are doing workshops and so forth in the summer. It's not just I'm going to take 3 months off summer vacation.
No. And summer school and things continue, and I can vouch for. I've got in service on Thursday and Friday all day with a group of teachers, and it's going on all the curriculum planning. It's very busy.
Good. So what would be a point of pride if someone were to ask you, you know, you've been in Joplin for a while, you've seen the school district, what's the point of pride you have about Joplin schools?
Oh, the point of pride, I hadn't really thought about singling the one thing. I just think it's the capacity of our teachers and the care and diligence I've seen, and the true desire to do what's best for kids. That resonates throughout the district, and it came through loud and clear to me as I visited campuses my first few days here. I think the work ethic and the ethical behavior of our leadership team that we have in place, lots of strong rapport there, and it gives me a feeling of relief to know there's a lot of people much smarter than I that are helping me.
So as an administrator, it's great to know you have a strong team you're working with.
Yes.
And it sounds like it is indeed a teamwork effort, that you're not leading the team is working together. I mean,
yes, absolutely. And it's my challenge to know what all they're working on.
Great. Well, Dr. Moss, I'd like to thank you for visiting with us today, sharing the time to visit and let the audience hear what you have to say.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
The city of Joplin and the region featured a lot of changes in 2017. One of those was the new Joplin Public Library. I had a chance to visit the library director about the new facility. Well, the summer of 2017 has been a historic one in Joplin, the opening of a new public library. And today, we're going to find out about the facility and much more. Joining me is the library director, Jackie Gage. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We're recording this program now that you've been open, I guess, actually for a few weeks or so. What are your feelings now that it's finished, or the doors are open at least?
The doors are open. It is not finished because we still have things to arrive. We're still missing some shelving. We're still missing some furnishings. So I tell people you have to keep coming back, because every time you come back, there's probably going to be something a little bit different involved for you to see and participate in.
Well, I imagine for you and your staff, though, this has really been a momentous occasion. You've seen it from the idea to the completion of a building.
It really has been. It's really not slowed down enough that I've really gotten a chance to step back from this, but it is momentous, because when you think about it, this happened once in 1902. With the Carnegie grant in the original library, and then the downtown library opened in 1981, and now 36 years later, so 3 times in Joplin history this has happened. So it is a pretty important deal.
Now, from the public perspective, have you had a chance to hear from the patrons, the people who walk in the door?
Most of the time, it's just like, wow, this is the prettiest library I've ever seen. This is amazing. This is fantastic. We actually, one of our youngest patrons, this is secondhand, was talking to one of my department heads. Patty was at her desk, and this little girl, she said she was no taller than being able to put her hands up on the desk, said, "Is this a mall?" And Patty said, "No, this is a library." And she went, "No, this isn't the library. The library is over here." And she was pointing to the children's section.
Oh, that's where she was going to go.
That was her library. And so she thought the rest of the facility was a mall. And our staffer was able to say, "Well, this side is your mama's library, and your library's over there." And the little girl was, 2 libraries? And so I just thought that was precious. Is this a mall?
Now, when school comes back, and you talk about a lot of schools have students using computers, and a lot of course, the university. Do you see that as an opportunity for maybe study groups to get together? They need to meet somewhere?
I do. At the old library, we had what we called the small meeting room and the large meeting room, and that was it. At this facility, we've got study rooms that are appropriate for between 1 and 6 people. We've got rooms that are for bigger groups of collaboration, 8, 10, 12, 16. Even in the teen space, they have their own study room with a technology table, so that they can just plug in their devices, see it there on the computer screen that's on the wall. So we've got a lot of different options for different sizes and types of study groups or community groups, nonprofits to meet. Our community room holds over 200 theater-style seating, or can be subdivided into 2 completely separate units that hold over 100 people each. Each side having its own AV materials, projector and screen and sound system, that sort of thing.
Great. Well, a lot of possibilities for the future.
Yes, there are.
Another project underway in the city of Joplin for changes is the new Joplin Senior Center. We visited representatives from the Area Agency on Aging to find out about their plans and the programs they provide. Well, summer is a time when many people get outdoors, but a lot of activities going on. And today we're getting an update on activities tying into the Area Agency on Aging. And there's some big news this summer tying into that. New senior center coming to town. So we're going to find out about that as well as other topics. Joining me, Stan Heater and Stephanie Denham. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
I guess the big news of just recently is you actually broke ground on a new senior center.
That is our big news. We're really excited. You know, the planning process and the time it takes for the architects to draw it up, it just takes forever. And you almost just forget it. And then all of a sudden they say, okay, we're going to have a groundbreaking.
So now you're at that process of you're going to see something starting to happen.
Last week?
Yes.
It was very exciting.
Let's do a little background for viewers that how this came about. Obviously, we had a tornado that caused some damage throughout the community, but you were able to get some support through the recovery funds to help build this.
Right, and Stephanie can probably tell you more about the damage we had because I wasn't at the area agency during the tornado, but what the city actually came to us and said, would you be interested in us building a new senior center? And we're like, well, yeah, we would be. And so that's kind of the process. And they did have some funds that were leftover tornado funds, and it had to be spent in a certain way on a certain population and a certain income base. And so our seniors fit perfectly into that scenario. So that's where we got started. But we did have damage at the old one too, and Stephanie could probably tell you that.
So you were a victim as well as many other people.
We had some damage to the building itself. Actually, the roof was kind of lifted up and then set back down. Unfortunately, there was some structural damage, but the city got it fixed really quick. We were misplaced for a short time, but then we were into a much smaller building, which we learned that you adjust,
Right.
but we made it. But we're really excited about the new building. It's going to be substantial amounts larger. All of our equipment's going to be easy to get to. We'll have more room for activities, the lunch program. So we're just really excited.
So opportunities for people to help out. We mentioned volunteers. If people want to contact you to volunteer, funding opportunities. You have fundraisers, ways that they can financially help you out as well.
We have fundraisers within the centers. We have fundraisers with our main fundraiser is the Grapes and Grug,
Right.
which we'll be having in October. And we have all kinds of ways that you can help out. We have people that will just send in donations to help with their parents or their neighbors. Just give us a call. We'll help you.
Help them. Great.
And I think on our webpage there's a donate button where they can either donate PayPal, or I believe now they can also do credit card if they want to.
So directly.
The Grapes and Grogs, October 14th. This year I think it'll be at the Wilders Event Center, which used to be the Bypass.
Right.
And it's really as far as our agency, it's our only really big fundraiser
The big
of the
main
year.
fundraiser.
Yes.
Right, and it'll be fun. There's appetizers and craft beer and just a lot of fun things going on. A good band, Big Smitty, I think, is going to play for us this year. But that's the money that we can do the extra things with.
So that's a way for the community as a whole, people of all
To
ages to
support
come
us,
out and help
yes.
you support and do the programs and
Correct.
so forth. So a lot of things that are happening. I'd like to thank you both for being here today and providing this information. There's, like I said, a lot of resources available, wanting to make the community aware of these resources, and I'm sure a lot of people looking forward to that new center opening up next summer
yeah.
as
Yes,
well.
very
So-
excited.
And we'll follow up on that when it opens and let people know what you have to offer there as well.
Thank you so much for having
I'm
us.
sure we'll have a grand opening.
Missouri Southern started its new semester in August of 2017. I had a chance to visit with the university president, Dr. Alan Marble. Here's what he had to say as the new year started at Southern. Well, it's a busy time at Missouri Southern as classes and a new academic year are getting underway. And today we have a chance to visit with the president, Dr. Alan Marble. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Judy. Thank you.
And thank you for coming. And I know we get to do this every year, kind of sharing your feelings as a new academic year gets underway.
It's always exciting to see the students get back on campus, and especially this year. We had a big freshman class show up at Convocation, and it appears like we're off to a running start.
If you look around campus, parking's at a premium. There's students a lot of different places. It's
Yeah, the
bustling.
suggestion box will be full of, we need more parking.
That's one of the first comments they make.
Seems like it.
Well, prior to the students arriving, you had a chance to visit with faculty and the Board of Governors. I thought we'd start off with talking. Last week you had a chance for faculty and staff to gather together and the administrators to visit with them.
We did, and I think it's really a fine day, so we can get together and spend a morning to kind of update everyone, catch everybody up on where we are. And this year we did do something a little differently. We had a guest speaker, Dr. Malia Stockham, came in and spoke about Generation Z, the next group that's coming. We've had millennials and Gen Xers and all that, and now we have Generation Z.
So we have to learn that continuing education for the people who are teaching that, how you learn about the changes.
Really how you teach, how you communicate, and how they've grown up really in a different world than we often realize. Few of them are really aware of 911.
Right.
They were very small when that happened, so it's not part of their daily life to think about those things. So they've grown up in a world where we're at war most of the time. A lot of things have affected them differently than the generations prior.
right. Well, looking forward to this year, what are your main goals that you would like to set, for Missouri Southern? If someone were asking, what do you think?
This year, I really would like to see us measure how this yours to lose thing works and see if that model can be duplicated in other areas, pre-engineering or some other areas that we might be able to help accelerate students through programs so that they don't linger, anyway. And another goal in my mind would be for us to figure out all the pathways and meta majors for students so that, you can't expect every student to walk on campus and know exactly what they...
Right, some are undecided. They come in and say, I'm coming to college, but yeah.
But they shouldn't just meander around like a salad bar, picking and choosing classes. We should have sort of general areas, well, I don't know if I want to be a teacher or if I want to be a counselor or whatever. Well, this certain area, so take this set of classes that will prepare you for anything you want to do in that area.
Right.
Or I love mathematics, but I don't know if I want to be an engineer, if I want to be a mathematician, or what. Okay, we'll take this set of classes. So we've got that all pretty much worked out, but I want to see how it works.
Right.
And see the benefit for the students.
So ultimately, those students graduate on time and get that job that become productive members of society.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole goal. Commencement is the greatest day on campus. We can watch them walk across that stage.
And following up then on the alumni side, I know you had a chance to meet alumni at different events. You hear from stories of people who've come through Missouri Southern that have graduated and gone on to be successful.
We have great people out there. We have an astronaut who graduated from Missouri Southern. I have 2 pro football players right now in the NFL. There's been great, but there's just a lot of really good, solid folks that have come through this university, and it's really terrific to get back in touch with some of them. I think we sort of lost touch over time, especially with the Joplin Junior College group, and we made a special effort this last year to reconnect, and I think it's working. They're coming back in great numbers. And so I think that just stands to help our fundraising, to help our acceptance in the community, just to not forget again, and to keep those people engaged.
So a lot of building the community pride, the people that support the school at all ages of their life.
I'm starting to see a lot more community pride, frankly, and I'm really proud to see that. They have banners downtown you see on the poles, and a service station down the street paints green and gold.
Right.
Things like that are just. We had 100 flags that were provided to give away. To hang on they went in like 3 days. Wow. So we're going to go back to that donor and see if we can get some more flags.
Get some more flags to have around town that people can see this is Joplin.
People wanted them, so that's a good thing.
That's great. Well, Dr. Marble, I know a lot's happening at the beginning of the year. I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come by and visit with me today.
It's always my pleasure, Judy. Thank you.
Missouri Southern was featured on a number of programs on Newsmakers in 2017. In the fall, we found out about plans for the campus rededication, 50 years at the current campus location. Here's a little bit about what that program had to say. Well, Missouri Southern's preparing to celebrate a special occasion, 50 years at the current campus location. That's our focus of today's program, and joining me, 3 gentlemen who help us share some of the history of the past. We have Richard Webster, Brad Belk, and Dwayne Hunt. Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure.
A lot of people may, those who have been around for a while remember 1967, but we're taking some special time this year to talk about it and share that history with the community. And I guess, Brad, I'll start with you. A decision to celebrate 50 years here at Missouri Southern's current location.
Well, we've got a great celebration planned, and we're hoping that good weather accompanies us. But yes, we're going to have a great show. We're rededicating the campus on October 27th. Bill, I think if we can look at those slides, on October 27th, 28th, and 29th in 1967, they had the formal dedication of the campus. Even though the school was going strong at that point in time, I believe that's probably when Governor Hearns could be there to be part of the dedication ceremonies. But on October 29th, next slide please, this is Governor Hearns right there in the center, played a huge part in the role of the development of the college. President Billingsley on the right, or the viewers, I guess to be the viewers' right, yes, and Fred Sonato, who was the dean of students at that time.
Mr. Webster, if someone comes up to you and asks you, what's your biggest point of pride about Missouri Southern? And somebody says, what makes you proud about Missouri Southern? How do you summarize that for someone? You've been a student, you've been a community leader.
That the original vision of the school has reigned true, and that it has grown over the year and given people from all over opportunities. not only, I mean, young people that are local, people from far off have come here, people have come from foreign countries. It's had an outreach internationally. It's just grown over the years, you know, from humble beginnings with a purpose. And I spent 6 years, I'll just mention this, I worked for 6 years at Ozark Christian College out here. And I remember the old dean out there saying that you have to keep focused on your mission. You don't want to get off in a bunch of different directions. A school like that had a particular mission, but Missouri Southern has stuck to its mission and has expanded that, has expanded out in all areas to provide that opportunity to so many people.
It's adapted as times have changed.
That's
grown.
right. That's exactly right. And it continues to grow.
Dwayne?
And it's a great asset for
For the community.
Southwest Missouri, which was the original purpose.
From a faculty perspective, pride is saying that I was here, I had influence on students.
Very difficult to add much to what Richard has said, because he has beautifully stated the influence of this university on the community and the entire state, I think. I'm very proud to have been a member of the faculty here at Missouri Southern, and I know I was extremely pleased and proud when we became a university.
Right.
Yeah.
Big step taken there.
Yes.
Right. Tying that together.
And you were also a junior college.
I was a junior college graduate, as a matter of fact.
So you went through the program and then
Milton Britsky was your...
Milton Britsky was my first college theater teacher.
How about that?
And then in 1963, I came back and joined him in a two-man department at Joplin Junior College. In fact, we went through 3 different name changes.
The school itself
in
as it evolved,
1963
right?
that year, yes.
Right. Well, I'd like to thank all of you for sharing your stories today. I know that the viewers are familiar with Missouri Southern. I hope they've enjoyed hearing as much as I have this great history of what we have. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us and watching us on Newsmakers this year, but more importantly, I'd also like to thank the students, the people who have been in this studio bringing you the program, both running cameras, directing, everything that it takes to make this a reality. Thank you for tuning in for Newsmakers. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join us again in 2018. We'll see you then.